Just settling into your body, either with your eyes open or your eyes slightly closed. Completely up to you, what works for you. So first of all, just finding that place where you can settle inside. Just observing your breath, your in-breath and your out-breath. Not trying to change that, but just aware of breath coming in, breath going out. Becoming aware of sensation in your body, felt sense of your body. Finding a place in your body where you can rest. So a sense of resource, sensation in your body, a place where there's warmth, heat, relaxation, space. Letting go of your awareness of your breath, just extending your attention to the whole of your body, feeling that unification, sense of one cell. Settling, deepening. Once you have a sense of ground in your body, just expanding your attention to the field around you, just the local field, just a couple of feet around you. so that you become aware of the body itself, sensation in your body, feel it around you. Just expanding your attention to where it feels comfortable. Noticing if that changes your experience of your body felt sense as you expand your attention a little bit. Just letting your mind float. As you notice yourself getting distracted or coming into thoughts, just coming back, gently bringing yourself back to sensation. Slowly coming back to resource sensation in your body, that felt sense of ease and comfort. Acknowledging what's changed. When you're ready, slowly come back, bring your attention through your eyes, back into the room. And just have a look around the circle. Just taking in sense of connection with the group of people here. Thank you. So, just a couple of practical things before we go on from work. So we've got the complete address list for you. Hopefully it's accurate now. It's inclusive. So, if there still is anything to change, then just let us know. And just one other thing which we forgot to say to you, the driveway just there is a private driveway that goes up to somebody's house. So just let them know that we don't walk up there for a little gate or anything. So the way into the moor is to go up and round. Yeah. So you can go up through the gate and over the moor. But that road actually belongs to the house at the top, and the guy with the tractor goes down. So we forgot to say that. So.
Is it private down there?
Yeah, and this Maura's house, and Tutor sleep here as well. So that little driveway with the gate is when the dog had come out. Yeah, it's private. So yeah, it's basically the way out is this way.
You can go to the garden behind the house.
You can walk up behind the house.
The garden.
Oh yes, you can. Yeah. Down the garden, and the pond actually is overgrown, and it's full of weed. But goodness, we can go down watching that. Like Franklin said, it's been a slow process of gaining friendship with neighbours. Big pond more. Nobody was ever quite sure what's going on here for the first few years. So, they've worked really hard to get relationships with people, which is important. Okay. So, yes?
How do you mention something? You have to do correction.
Yeah.
First name is Sima, the first name.
Sima? Yep.
On the email, there's the Sima I Shirawi. You cross the A-N. So it becomes Sima Shirawi without the A-N. Just in without the A. There's only one A and then the S.
No job.
No life.
Values, yeah.
Cat.
Okay. Good. So, Jackie. Don't you wanna? It feels you just let's go. Good. So we're going to go on with our exploration today of practitioner presence and the relational field, and then this afternoon you'll finally get your hands on somebody. Sometimes people come in and they're like, they're raring to go on the first day, and we just keep extending the period before you actually get the chance to put your hands on. But by the time you get to put your hands on this afternoon, hopefully you're in a completely different relationship with yourself. And, the intention is to find more stability and ground in yourself, so that when you come into a relationship, you're really aware of those dynamics and what can happen as you move towards another person. So we're in that process at the moment. And this morning we're going to explore a little bit more about what we call a relational field, which is establishing the ground of presence and then moving towards another person. And what I was sharing with the tutors this morning, what I love about the first two seminars really is we keep doing the same thing. We keep coming back to the ground, and we keep exploring, establishing presence and relationship, and it's always rich. It's never not interesting to me, because it's every single day in my practice. When I work with clients, I'm coming back. I need to be reminded. I need to deepen that relationship I have to myself and my own ground. And it's like driving a car. It becomes automatic after a while. But still, there's always much more richness to it. You never arrive, you never arrive. There's no goal at cranial work. Yeah. You just keep deepening, keep exploring keep having experiences, you keep having revelations, those aha experiences, which will continually happen along the way. So you learn about something, and then it starts to unfold, and you have an experience. So the window opens, and the light comes in, and you go, that's what they're talking about. But it's not, you haven't arrived. That's the next step. And then you're with that for a while, and then something else happens. So it's a continual unfolding of and development of presence and perception, which just deepens endlessly. It's very, very rich and very creative work, and I certainly experienced what a lot of people have already shared, of that feeling of coming home when you come to the work. Feeling that you've explored lots of things in your life, and all of those things have been rich and they've taken you to a certain point, and then somehow you come to creating work, and I've certainly experienced that feeling like, that's what all that was, what the purpose of all of that was for, to come to this work. And so hence I feel like this is it for me in terms of just developing this work. Go on to your 95, 105. And the lovely thing about cranial work is that you don't have to retire. Yeah, it's very nurturing for practitioners as well. It's very challenging, but it's very nurturing. It's not. You could be an old lady or an old gentleman and still be in relationship with this person, helping them, assisting them in their process. So it's really, really lovely from that perspective. So I was thinking after Franklin's lecture yesterday about, he's talking about the being, our being nature. And it's interesting to me that we're a combination of, we're very patterned. We like routine. Routine helps us settle. It helps us feel secure. We need a certain rhythm of routine in life. Yeah, we all need that. We all need that sense of ground and stability and regularity and routine. And without that, human being would just become completely dispersed and fragmented. But there's an element of that, where we get too patterned, we can very easily get into our grooves. What we like, don't like, what we feel good, what doesn't feel good. It's very easy how the human psyche can become over-patterned. So something which is helpful, if you do it enough, it can turn, to become unhelpful as well. So everything always has these two sides. So if you're in routines and patterning and where you're comfortable for a long time, you can become very inert. So you can hit the place of inertia in that, where you're stuck. So the other side of that is what a human being also needs, is we need stimulus, we need excitement, we need challenge, we need new experiences. We need to be shaken out of some of those grooves as well. So it's very interesting to me how when you work with a potency in the body, we start to relate to midline, to, we'll talk more about this tomorrow, longitudinal fluctuation, how fluid moves in the body, and the sense of potency, if you like, chi, prana, in different systems of medicine, the storage of energy and the development of reconnection to energy in the body. What happens when you do that is that potency starts to rise and well up and literally start to move things in your body, which become inert, become stuck. And it's a very natural process. It's a constant balance between meeting the patterns of resistance and stuckness in the body, if you like, where energy is contained, and the potency arising and starting to bring transformation, bring change. So we're constantly in that. It's a natural process. As that potency arises, it starts to meet the conditioned patterns. It meets those grooves. It meets those places of inertia in the body. And it starts to challenge some of those places, yeah. And hence the feeling of instability starts to come on, shakiness, insecurity, yeah, because some of those deep known places start to be challenged. But the other side of that, which I'd just like to introduce more, is how exciting that is, how that takes us to our leading edge, yeah, how creative that is, how we need that challenge, yeah. The stress of life, how Sailor talked about, we need stress, we need that challenge. We need what I would call the leading edge to take us to that place where we go, I don't know where I am, oh my God, something's about to change. There's a transformation starts to happen, and you can feel insecure in that moment. When something starts to dissolve. So we're in the beginning of that relationship with feeling some of those patterns in the body where, we've become stuck and comfortable, felt secure, but we also know that that's not enough. Yeah? We also know that there's more than that to life, there's more than that to awareness, there's more than that to love, to experiencing connection with people as well. Yeah, so that's we're walking the line of the leading edge in cranial work. Yeah, constantly like that place of the midline, the place where we get challenged as practitioners and as clients too. Yeah. So when a client says that they want change, that's the words. But you have to be with what the body says. Yeah. Very often the body and the words and the body don't align. Yeah, I'm always listening between the words and body. What people say, what they think they want, where they think they are, what's actually happening in the body is interesting. So sort of alignment starts to come as you deepen into the work. As you deepen into those slower rhythms in the body, like Franklin was talking about waves, being the conditioned patterns, and the currents in the ocean being the deeper connection to tendencies, yeah, patterning, more of a connection to potency, to health, and then the really slow rhythm, which is the stability of the tidal and fall movements, so those really slow, stable, the long tide rhythm, which never changes. Yeah, so there is a consistency there. There's a stability there, and that's always available to us. Yeah, and the lovely thing about the work is that we're not learning more and more and more. It's not about grabbing stuff and I need to know, I'm learning. It's actually the other way around. It's like there's a return to a place in your body which is known to you. It's already known. You know the slower unfoldment of the tide in your body. You know the stillness. You know the space. Because it's what you unfolded around as a little embryo. That experience is there. Yeah. So it's a slow process of returning back to what is natural to you. Returning back to a place in you that knows, a place in you that is stable. Yeah. So that's the journey that we're on right there. So, Franklin was talking a little bit about presence, being around with work, and continually developing and changing added perception. Again, continually developing, changing, then right, changing your awareness, become more inclusive, your sense of your relationship with the client, your perceptions of their system. We talked a little bit about empathy. Yeah, so empathy being the ability to resonate with another person on the level of their being. Not the level of the mind, not the level of, I know, I've seen this before, I know this, but the ability to empathize on a sensation level, yeah. So the ability to receive the whole of the person and their history in a stable way and empathize, resonate with that. Yeah. And that really takes a lot of work to be able to not take on that person's experience and history. Yeah. Because the deeper, the more pain and the more suffering that person's had, and the deeper you resonate with them, the more likely you are to get triggered in that. The more likely you are to be activated by that. The more likely your history is to get triggered as well. Yeah. On a somatic level. So it's easy to get stirred up by clients, and it's easy to get triggered and activated, and that actually is normal and natural at the beginning of the work. So don't give yourself a hard time about that, because it will happen continuously. Yeah. But slowly, as you get more grounded, more rooted in your own system, it's literally can let things move through you. So as you get that stability in your own being, your sense of groundedness, it's like things come in and they go out. Things come in, they go out. You become more transparent as a practitioner. Yeah, it's like waves moving through rather than hitting resistance. So your system becomes a stable ground for the client system to start to unfold. Yeah, so in a way, you become translucent as a practitioner. We tend to think of ourselves as dense, dense physical structure, connective tissue, skin, muscles, bones. We're actually space and fluid. The embryo, and when the embryo develops, the embryonic plate, which becomes the nervous system, is an oval plate that unfolds around space and fills up with fluid. So our nervous system is unfolded around space, which then becomes a container for cerebrospinal fluid, which is the core of this work. So we are unfolded around space. We're full of fluid, and we have fluid all around. The whole body is full of fluid. Every cell is a container for fluid and space. Within every cell space, the nucleus is fluid. Yeah. So we really are fluid and space. Like Qigong practice and martial arts, you're working with fluidity, meeting with essence and going through. Yeah, it's the same principle in creative work. If you think of yourself as being a midline, space, fluid, stability. Yeah. Resonating with the long tide. So that's where we're actually going, the work. And that requires us to be embodied. So embodiment. I spent, frankly, the first 30 years of my life dissociated. Probably all, that's probably where we've all come from. Very out in stars, very psychic, very, seeing spirits, and it was easy for me. That was my world as a child, and it still is, but it's in a very different way. There's a process of embodiment in cranial work, which is extraordinary. Just by doing the work, you become embodied. You come into your tissues, you come into your system in a different way. You have an ability to stay with yourself on an emotional level as well. And you also start to recognize when you go off too. And that's okay too. Oh my God, I can't stay with this. I'm just going to go out of it and get some space. We all dissociate. It's a natural tendency and inclination in the human psyche to dissociate. So it's not something to stop doing. It's something to just be aware of when it happens. And when that happens, when we start to go, whoa, something important is happening. There's something important there. So, it's not, we're not trying to become a body, we're not trying to hold our attention to the body. It's very, very much more gentle than that. But this happens through work. You become more embodied as a practitioner. You become infinitely more aware of the subtle tones that are happening in your body, and are more able to be with those experiences as well, but on an emotional level too, more able to be with strong emotions as they arise, rather than moving away from them, splitting off from them. Yeah. You become more able to ride the wave of what happens and then return back to stillness. So it's a really slow process. Watching people over the years, just to me, just amazing the transformation that happens with people in the first couple of years of work. People's lives change, your lives will change. Just from doing the work in this seminar, your life will change. And change happens. It's very inspiring to me. And then, so embodiment, and then what we call a relational field. Is then that coming together with another person in a different way, meeting another person's system in a different way, in a way where you stay differentiated. Yeah. So you're able to resonate, but you stay differentiated. I am, and they are. But within that, there's a unity, there's a unification in the field. So where we're going this afternoon, when Satya's going to work, is the field of the practitioner, the field of the client are differentiated, are stable. And then from those two fields, another field opens up, which is a unified field. So Satya will talk more about that this afternoon, where that third field of the relationship starts to open up from stable ground. I'd just like to read you a couple of poems which I thought were. Any questions? Any comments on that? Anything to say? So, I love poetry. My dad was a poet. He died about 2 years ago, and he used to write haiku. He studied Japanese poetry for me. He was a literature teacher, and he was an atheist. But he studied the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, and he didn't believe in God. He didn't go to church, and he had this really deep searching for something, and he didn't actually find it in his lifetime. He was still searching, at the moment when he died. But it's amazing to me now, looking back. He was studying all this amazing Zen poetry. He learned some Japanese so he could understand some of the actual, the true language. He learned some Gaelic so he could understand some of the Irish poetry. It's like he was really a literary person. And he felt like you had to go back to the original language rather than look at translation to understand poems. So I've got boxes of his haiku, just starting to go through them and really appreciate what he was doing in his life, because it was very hidden. He wasn't something, he self-published, but he didn't really come out with his poetry, which is sad. He never found a listening ground for his poetry. It was an internal search. But it gave him so much in his life, and it was a major resource for him as well. So poetry somehow feels like it's in my blood, and so I keep coming back to poetry. And I particularly like David White. I don't know if any of you have... I'm not going to read one of his poems, but later maybe. David White was a Yorkshire, half Irish poet. He lives in the States. He works a lot in businesses. So it takes poetry into business environment to try and inspire and bring creativity into a different environment. It's wonderful. He's done a lot of Zen practice. And I got to meet him a few years ago in Boulder. So he's a real inspiration for me. So this is actually in one of his collections of poetry. So this poem is called Lost. It's really relevant to what we're exploring at the moment. And it's by David Wagner. He says, "Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here. And you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again and say, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you." This is very brief and very funny poem. Also got it in German, but I won't read it in German. I have no idea who wrote this. It's a very Zen poem. I've gone out to look for myself. If I should return before I get back, hold me until I get there. I think we should all have a copy of that. No, I won't read the German another time. So I've lots more, but I won't go there just now. Poetry is such an inspiration. There's so much. Daniel White used to talk about the job of the poet every morning. You know, he had a realization in his life where he was stressed, he was overworked, he was exhausted, he was working in some office environment and he was at his wit's end. And he'd always had poetry as part of his life. And one day he realized that he was going to give everything up and become a poet. It was the realization that that was it. That was what he came here to do, to be a poet. And it was a moment of realization for him. So he then stopped doing everything else and became a poet, took on the commitment of being a poet. And he explored going around and telling his friends about this realization he'd had, where the light came in and the window opened, and he realized that he was a poet. That was it. That was what his life's destiny was. And he talked to his friends. He went around telling people about it. And the look of horror on people's faces when he told them what his realization was shocking to him. So instead of being greeted with joy and, resonance and empathy for what his choice was, people were horrified that he'd lost his way and, there's something wrong with him and this was really very scary what he was going to do. Interesting. That was his leading edge. And he became a poet. And he said every day he would sit in front of the blank page in his study. He'd open his book, he'd have a blank page there. The discipline of the poet to come every day into writing. Yeah. And he did a lot of Zen practice in the end and came back to meditation practice because he found that so helpful. Both emptying out, and then seeing what came from that. And he's continued to explore that in his life. He's a very, he does a lot of recitation and it's a very powerful guy. So if you get a chance to, he's on YouTube, so if you go to YouTube, David White with a Y, there's quite a few little film clips on there of him reciting some of his poems. Very lovely. If you get a chance to meet him, go for it. So what I'd like to do now is to do an exercise around, so we're going to work more with the relational field, and we're going to come into relationship with what we call heart presence. Yeah, so exploring a sense of ground in the body, exploring a sense of our connection to our midline, whatever that means to you. We'll start to explore that more as we go on. And a sense of our heart presence. So I'd like to do a little exercise. You can either do it lying down or sitting up. So if you want to lie down, that's fine. Just make a commitment to not fall asleep if you do that. Yeah. And sitting up is also good too. Whichever you feel. Okay. Just settling in. Yeah, if you're lying down, just feeling your body lying flat. We'll be there for about 15 minutes, which maybe just start with bringing some of those resources that you had yesterday. A sense of resource for you in your life just now. What helps you to feel relaxed, connected, at ease with yourself? So just remembering that resource and bringing that into your body as sensation. So if you imagine yourself lying on that beach, what's the sensation in your body as you do that? As you remember that experience, bringing it into your body. So as you relax and settle, feel the ground underneath you. Let you to become aware of your physical heart, pulsation of your physical heart. Become aware of your heartbeat, maybe the space between the heartbeats. I'd like you to extend your attention to pulsation of the heart through your whole body. So you become aware of the whole circulation system. And actually the circulation system is the first organ to form in the embryo. So your circulatory system is that wider sense of heart pulsation throughout your whole body. So just extend gently your attention to pulsation of potency and blood through the whole body. Spending a few minutes with that sense of your whole circulatory system connected to your heart, physical heart. And I'd like you to extend your attention to a wider sense of your heart, which is your spirit heart. So more of an energetic quality sense of your heart and circulatory system. Slightly wider, more subtle quality. Your spirit heart presence. feel ready, realize slowly returning back to more of a physical sense of your heart again, just in your own time. Noticing again your heartbeat, noticing if it's changed. Listening to the space between the heartbeats. Returning back to your resource sensation, felt sense, the ground in your body. Again, slowly your own time, just becoming aware of the sounds around you, sense of other beings in the room. Just slowly transition your attention to include what's around you. Bringing that experience back, now you can return to that at any moment. Once you've been there, you can find your way back. He's got a t-shirt on this
Not appropriate.
Totally appropriate.
Yeah.
Shall we just go on?
Any experiences you'd like to share?
It's like the second visit to the physical part. It's different. Very.
Do you say more?
It's more pervasive. Possibility. Less permanent.
Just a silence. Yeah. It's absolutely. It changes the physical circulation as well. Great. Any other experiences doesn't have to be wonderful. Yeah. Great. Go for it if you want.
Getting into the spirit heart. That's where I have all the physical part. Nice and peaceful and mechanical. But it was not pain. It lost pain. It was like behind.
Yeah.
No, coming back to the physical. We're coming back.
Yeah.
Physical. Same with love. It's like one way to just let go. Not knowing what the word that was. Let go. I can't see what's behind me. No problem. That's the let go. It's just that. Just keep
That.
constant.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of spirit.
Yeah. Trust spirit help.
Oh.
And then bring it back. The return of the spirit heart to physical. And the spirit heart will tend to take you back into your early history. So it's to take you back into the early early history. Yeah. Thank you.
I found that quite difficult to find physical heart exactly. It was easier to feel something of the whole circulatory system when I hear it the first time I said to listen to the space between the hearts. And I was like, am I really feeling the heart at all? I don't know. It's very obscure. But when you widen down to the whole circulatory system, that was easier.
Yeah.
And then when you went to the spirit world, somebody was like, there's this like nice, joyous spiraling going on. And the other thing really heavy, difficult to see.
Yeah.
And suddenly the other way was much easier.
Huh? Yeah, that's the way. That's easy. So you start with where you are. Yeah, it's easy for you to expand out to feel a more subtle place. And then it's the return. Just work that potential. Change. So the wider you expand the space you are. Or more sense of ease.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just sort of like focusing down on nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah.
To particularly like.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And the physical heart, lots of emotions, a lot, potentially a lot of strain too, a lot of that.
So, but there was a nice feeling. The spirit heart was there first, so to that.
Yeah, that's right. Your spirit heart's where you came from. Yeah. It's always been we've always been fascinated by embryology. We heard of Jaap van der Waal, who's an anthroposophical embryologist who's been lecturing a lot on the cranial field recently. We just grabbed hold of him. That we need to know what you teach. There's a lovely coming together somehow of the cranial and anthroposophical and embryological fields at the moment. And Franklin always taught that the heart was the first organ to form. So in embryological development, the heart starts off at the top of your head. Later, look at the embryological images. So your heart is here, and then it becomes enfolded into the chest cavity, which actually curls into the body from there. It actually begins up here. But yeah, talked about before the heart formed, that the circulation was the first organ to form in the body. So the circulatory system forms before the heart, and then the heart becomes centralization, circulation. So it totally makes sense to me that the power of the potency in blood, circulatory system, is there before. Just shifting something from being like that. And then from that, the heart organises everything around midline and centralises that function. Yeah. Lovely. So yeah, so that's back there. Any other experiences?
Just what we said then, that we're not so much central as a network. Like that's what I said. Like, I'd see a heart, and it's quite centralized. Also, that centralization can actually, before that, came from a whole system, a whole life.
Connected to light, connected to a source. Yeah. Wholeness as well.
I was shocked that I actually had never gone into my circulation system on physical level. I was like, I don't know how to do that. So I held my pulse.
Yeah.
I felt that was good to just bring me into contact.
Yeah.
It was almost like it's a straight. I'm that.
Right. Yeah. And then the wider sense, how's that for you?
Kind of a bit spacey.
Spacey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite. Yeah. Just diffuse.
Yeah. Good. Perfect. Every experience is different, so that's amazing. Yeah, anything else? Anyone find it really difficult to concentrate? That's so fine. Difficulty in staying with? Yeah? Yeah? Just coming and going with the attention? Yeah? It's fine.
I think that, like what you were saying, that not really knowing, being like, yeah, well, how do I think, like, probably should go on, so that helped me.
Yeah. How does that feel?
Right.
Yeah, Tai Chi teacher once said to me to listen to the space in between the heartbeats. That was liberation for me. Familiar with feeling the heart pulse. Working with actually slowing the heart pulse down. Really. If you focus on the heartbeat for a while and listen to it, it starts to slow down. Naturally, we drop into that slower rhythms, but listen to the space in between the heartbeat. Whoa. Interesting. Makes sense to me as well. Space between beats. which to start with doesn't feel like there is any. It just feels like it's one beat after another.
When we doing that exercise, going to the spirit heart and then coming back to the physical heart again, for me, feeling the softness of that, softness of the intention just sitting there. But when you say go between the beats again, it just, the space between just went. It's very nice, very expansive. It's like the space between.
Yep, I think maybe just one more. Weird, right? I never found my heart before. Because I've loved a heart. I have a heart. That it beats. Yeah. And I usually that twice. It's fast, but it's okay. It beats. Yeah. And then it's my surprise when you see space heart one. This is too good. So it took a while to negotiate. Yeah. Which, to my surprise, I didn't know what he meant. And I still don't know why. So he just like, he's on one, what you call it? Media. Just, this is elasticity, yeah, and translucency by itself. I don't know where this just there. And then coming back to physical heart, the pulsation felt or tape. Yeah. Yeah. Quite quickly. Yeah. Yeah, work a lot with the different qualities of body and cranial work, and we talk a lot about the heart protector. Yeah, the physical level, the heart, the pericardium. I've actually talked a lot about heart and pericardium. It's the physical level of the heart, and we're working from heart presence. Yeah, we're coming into relationship with what it is to sit in heart presence, compassion for another person. Yeah, so that more of that aspect. The spiritual aspect of the heart, of listening to another from a place of stability with compassion, brings you also to physical heart, to what your relationship to physical heart is. And then if you extend to the pericardium, which is the heart protector, which is the muscle around the heart, it's a different quality to it. So your heart also has protection. Yeah. So if somebody feels very defended or there's a lot of discomfort around the heart, then you invite space in that relationship. You get more in relationship with the pericardium, which is the heart protector. So the first layer of the physical protection of the heart is the pericardium, which allows the heart to function muscularly, through the rhythm, through the sinusoidal load. Interesting. The pericardium's always been... Is it energy around? Or... Yeah, absolutely. I'm talking about physically. Physically, the muscle of the heart is pericardium, but it's the heart protector on the physical level, but also on the energetic level, something much bigger too. That we have that physical protection around the heart. We need that to protect the function of the heart too. And then if you expand that out to emotional level, spiritual level, it's very, very rich.
I brought a typhoon once just so I could really hear, what I was trying to work out what it needed to be alive, to really try and understand that, to live for hours, the typhoon. I recommend. Yeah. Sorry. Stethoscope. Yeah. Wow. Really hear it. Yeah. Scary to start with. Yeah, my mum, who passed away a year and a half ago, at the age of 86, had a lot of heart. She had heart condition for 30 years. She had congestive heart failure, and she was like alive until the moment she passed away. And it's taught me, it continually teaches me so much about the quality of courage of the heart. She's very courageous. She had this heart condition for half of her life, and she was a really full-blooded, full-on, alive, in-life, courageous person. Yeah, and so she, to me, embodied this quality of heart, her focus was her heart. Yeah, the positive side of her, this courageous person that was in life. So it's interesting, even when there's an imbalance, there's another side to that as well. There's a strength to that too. She embodied that to me, like, whoa. And then she went very, very beautifully, very cleanly. She went, the heart stopped, and she returned back to spirit. We were talking about it last night. Very beautiful experience. She was ready. She surrendered. It was very, very, very beautiful. Completely transformed, in that moment of my life, but also work. All the cranial work that I'd done to that point, all the practice and all the awareness, I never knew where it would take me, whether I would have the ability to be differentiated and present and available for her in that moment. And I was totally, everything I'd learned with every client, the level of detachment, the level of differentiation, the level of being with, worked when I was with my mum. And that was awesome to me, that, in practicing, the deepest relationship in my life, the most, how's this going to be? Well, it was totally okay in that moment. That's so beautiful for me that the practice worked, and I was able to be utterly detached in that moment, and accept that she was going back to source, and could actually feel that too. So, wow, this work is such a preparation for life experiences. It's very beautiful. And she's still away. She never understood what I did. No. She never understood why. She thought it was wonderful, but she didn't understand what it was. And then, as she was dying, I did lots of work with her, and she had the experience of what it was, and she felt it. And then after she passed away, she really understands about the work. It's really lovely how they accompany us in the different stages, and she's still very much around, very present. Yeah, so heart, that's what I think of heart qualities. My mum, love, connection, joy, sorrow, all that. It's all part of the heart quality. I think it would be good if we took a short break, and then we'll come back and just go work together. So if we take, come back at 1:15. Just a little bit of 20 minutes.
Can I take this photograph? Something that's better than this. Right. So if you feel comfortable doing it, then.
Yeah, do that. You just, yeah. Photo freeze. I take you a while to get through it. You'd be watching me out to find out where I'm with that. That's a good plan. It's but I tell you that day as well. Because